Welcome back to another Security Token Show interview. Today we are joined once again by Tyler Vinson from REtokens. Tyler, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Jason. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, doing well. We're working on some reports as per usual. We started noticing more and more assets on your platform. So want to touch base and see what's going on. Tell me a little bit about the variety of assets. I know there's a church. I know there's Island Sky Ventures. Tell me a little bit what's on REtokens today.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a media article, maybe 6 weeks ago or so, that kind of announced the projects that are on there now. And you're right, we've got a 32-unit hospitality style apartment development in Texas, kind of the Gulf of Mexico there. Beautiful project. We've got an acquisition fund on there to acquire multi-unit properties in the Pacific Northwest. And then, of course, the big one that the media reported a lot on was Old Stone Church. And that is in Fort Collins, Colorado. And then we're at the tail end of the REtokens equity piece that we've had open. So that project's up on there too.
Interesting. Let's touch on one of these first, and then I do want to go back to the church. But I also noticed that you're a part of too, right? You have the security token for REtokens, that offering, and then you have the other offering. I think it's a fund that you're also managing. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the difference between the two and how that works?
Yeah, the REtokens one is actually equity in REtokens. We tokenized the company itself, and as a capital raise, we sold some of those security tokens. And we're right at the tail end of closing that up. It closes first week of September here. So if you're watching this and you're interested in that one, time's running out. But the other one is an acquisition fund. My background is in real estate acquisition, real estate investment, multifamily storage unit, and then, of course, some other commercial as well. But that fund in particular is designed to take advantage of some of the opportunities that we're starting to see in the real estate market. We've seen some softening in prices. We've seen pressure on real estate syndicators due to loans coming due and the difficulty in refinancing in a high interest rate environment. So I put together a $10 million fund to do some acquisition in the Pacific Northwest of multifamily unit and storage unit, which is really a lot of my expertise in the real estate world.
Gotcha. So two different offerings, two different purposes. So again, check both of them out, both on REtokens. Let's go back to the church, Tyler. It sounds like this is the first. It's definitely a first that I've heard of, a Tokenized Church. Tell us about that offering and maybe what's been reported as well, and maybe your take on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rumor was that it was the first church to be tokenized in the world. And then ultimately, a lot of media picked that up, including Forbes, who really broke the story. And it appears it is indeed the first church in the world to be tokenized. So there's been a lot of media attention around that. In fact, I just got done responding to somebody else wanting to do an interview on that. But Forbes broke the story. It's pretty interesting. We had worked with them for a couple of weeks, and I think that they had some interesting twists in there, maybe some sensationalism regarding my real estate business, which I'm not too involved with anymore, other than doing actual acquisitions. But we're grateful that they did the story and broke it. It ended up last Wednesday, I think it was on maybe 116 different media outlets around the world. I think 18 had done exclusive stories on it. And I appreciate you guys being one of the first to recognize it and get it out there as well. But it's been very cool because there's a lot of, normally when you tokenize, right, we're always talking about return on investment, and these are investment properties or investment digital assets and things like that. But I think tokenizing the church really highlights the uniqueness of what can be tokenized in the real estate world, and that there can be a lot more benefits than just return on investment by itself. Just take the Sky token, for example, that's on REtokens. It's the hospitality development in the Gulf of Mexico there in Texas. They are able to add features. So when people invest in their token, they can have a certain amount of nights or a certain amount of perks at these hospitality developments. And I think that's going to be a very popular thing. And when it comes to the church, we've had conversations where there's other churches now looking to tokenize, because it was very much about community impact and very much about these ministries being able to kind of come together to get a church. Normally, you'll see small or mid-sized churches that cannot afford their own church building, but tokenization is something that allows them to kind of come together and do that, as well as allow the community to truly have impact. So I'm very interested to see what type of unique properties will tokenize in the future here. There's been everything from museums to historic properties and things like that now that people are kind of opening their mind to and thinking, wow, we can have the community actually own a piece of this, and it can really be kind of a legacy investment as well. So it's been fun to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, I like it. It's a really interesting use case. I did want to ask too, would you say that this is possible without the church being tokenized? For example, if the purpose is to acquire, land or whatnot, to be able to have more locations and so forth, is this possible without blockchain, or how is blockchain really enabling the community there to be more empowered?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also possible to walk or jog the Tour de France, but I think it's going to be a longer, harder road, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a security. So we're operating under current, security compliance. That one is a SEC exemption called the Reg D, Regulation D 506C, which is something that you commonly see out there. I think the real difference, and this is where tokenization of assets comes in strong, especially in real estate, which is typically very difficult to buy, sell, and trade individual shares of. So technically, yeah, you could do the same exact thing and sell, membership units, if you will, but it's much more difficult to share that with the public. It's much more difficult to move those shares around and manage them, so on and so forth. So by tokenizing it and making the ownership digital, he can really get it out there to the world. And it's a Reg D 506C, so we'll say all accredited investors in the world. But that allows for a lot more participation than could otherwise be done. And through a platform like REtokens, each one of those investors is able to log in. They have their own account. They can see their tokens in there. Traditionally, in something like this, you're kind of going to just depend on an Excel spreadsheet on the syndicator or sponsor's computer, right? Or maybe you have a subscription agreement and that's all you have, to where now we have it in token form, which is much easier to see, manage, and then ultimately trade around. And I think the long game here with Old Stone Church is to not only get the community and churchgoers that are accredited investors involved, but ultimately be able to open it up to non-accredited investors. So as a 506C, after 12 months, these securities will be available for trading on a secondary market, to where retail investors, they still got to go through KYC, but retail investors, non-accredited investors, regular churchgoers can get involved and actually own a piece of this. I mean, if you think about it, if there's a family that goes to the church or participates in these ministries, a lot of times that's very, very generational. And now imagine not only being able to contribute to what the church is doing and actually get the benefits of ownership there, but being able to pass that through in legacy form. There's also been creative thoughts that we've now started to come up with after doing this. Like, you can invest in the token, you could own it and hold it, but then you could also donate it back. And there's tax benefits to buying real estate, right? But this is still an investment, so it wasn't the typical nonprofit. However, you can donate that back. And now it is a typical nonprofit tax write-off. No tax advice given here. It's just some of the conversations that we're seeing out there.
Really, really interesting. Again, it's the power of blockchain that really allows you to get creative with it, democratize as well that access. And I want to touch on your earlier point about also making it accessible to the non-accredited investors. Does REtokens have, to your point on the 12-month lockup, it's tradable after. Do you guys have any plans later on to enable
that? Yeah, we're pretty excited to announce right here with you that March 2025, we will launch a digital ATS, digital alternative trading system, where tokens like the Stone token here of the church and other tokens will be able to be sold under Rule 144. So under Rule 144, once a security has been seasoned for 12 months or 12 months after it's sold, it can actually be sold to non-accredited retail investors. And so we intend to do that with all of the real estate projects that we are tokenizing. So we're very, very excited about it. It's going to really lower the entry barrier for folks to be able to get into high quality real estate investments. So we'll be launching this ATS in March 2025.
That's super exciting. Appreciate you letting our audience know first here on the Security Token Show, Tyler. And I'm excited, obviously, as you guys know, we do track a lot of this on stm.co, and to have another ATS join the secondary markets here, and for security tokens specifically, that excites us to see, what else happens. Of course, you guys are working on real estate, around the world and in unique use cases such as the church here. I'm curious to see what else you'll launch in the primary phase from here to March, and then what that activity will look like on the secondaries, especially as you grow your audience, as each of your issuers also grow and contribute their investor base too. And of course, cross-pollination, that's another thing. Yeah. Too, that you might have invested into one property because it called your attention, but now that you have an ATS available, you might even be interested in maybe divesting a little bit from one property and investing into another. You never know, what becomes possible. So all good stuff, Tyler. Anything else that our audience should know on that?
Yeah, no, I think your point's well made. I mean, not only is there now access to folks that didn't necessarily have access to that, and vice versa, syndicators and LPs now have liquidity paths, LPs being limited partners, but you can diversify. I mean, real estate is a wealth building animal. So maybe you want to buy some tokens into a property that has great tax benefits. Maybe you want to buy into a property that has great cash flow, or one that has fantastic future equity. And you can actually optimize your own portfolio that way. So I think that's really exciting. Yeah, and another thing would be with this digital ATS we're going to be launching early next year, it's our intention to allow other real estate token issuance platforms to participate in our ATS. So we'll have, we've already got under contract $100 million worth of real estate. Approximately 30's on platform right now. By the end of September, there'll be approximately another 70, and we're in talks that would put us well over $1.5 billion. And then having other issuance platforms be able to participate in this is fantastic for the consumer, because we can start to standardize things. I know you guys recently did a show regarding ratings on security tokens. And once we're able to standardize things a little bit more, we can provide that type of rating, for example, for real estate security tokens, and really be a spot where people who want to invest in real estate, or a form of can go there and get the right information and the right tools that are dedicated to that. Because we also do real estate notes. So people that are looking for fixed income products can actually invest into tokenized real estate notes. And that's on the horizon as well.
Wow. There's a lot in the pipeline here that you guys are working on, Tyler. I had no clue. So even better for us and our audience, again, to anticipate all that by end of year, as well as going into kicking off 2025 on a strong note. This is all exciting stuff, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing all of this. Any last minute messages before we hop off here?
No, just a pleasure to be on, and appreciate what you guys do, putting information and data together, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
All right. See you, Jason.